Hey everybody, it's Galmadex, and welcome back to another Premier Draft of Kaldheim on Magic Arena. We've got a very solid pack here with a couple different options to go with. We have Arnie Broken Bow, which is a 3-mana, 3/3 haste boaster. It's just what I like to do in my red decks, just be aggressive, get a nice boast ability on it as well. I just like this card a lot. I have liked it in every single red deck that I've played it in. But there's also Feed the Serpent, which is instant speed removal that also exiles, and it can hit planeswalkers. So this is definitely one of the best removal spells in the set. Very, very good. Very much an option for the first pick here. And then there's like Struggle for Skemfar just for green removal, but that is a distant third. And I guess if you're Deathsea, you just take Goldvein pick here. But I'm not gonna first pick a Goldvein pick, although I have seen the very aggressive Goldvein picks running around lately, and that is definitely an option you have at your disposal. If you just take all of the little 1-mana and 2-mana aggressive creatures and a bunch of picks, suit them up with your picks, get treasure tokens really quickly so you're ramping out and just dumping your whole hand as quickly as possible. The Goldvein picks have been overperforming lately for sure. So here, after taking an Arnie, I think I'm kind of interested in Valkyrie's Sword. Again, this is a very expensive card. It is 7 mana if you want to spit out the token with it, but what you're getting for that mana is a 6/5 Flying Vigilance that leaves this equipment behind, so I think it is very powerful. But it is quite slow. I think it is probably the best card in the pack, although it's also the slowest card in the pack, so it's a little bit of a strange one, but it's also an equipment, so it works well with runes, it works well in a red-white deck. Red-white equipment is definitely a very solid strategy. You have some cards that could care about equipment in the color scheme. So we will just take Valkyrie's Sword there, and here in pack 3, I think it's going to be Feed the Serpent. Again, just as I said before, this is just a great removal spell. It's instant speed, it exiles, it hits creatures or planeswalkers. We're definitely taking one of just the best removal spells so that we have outs to whatever our opponent's playing over pretty much just a bunch of mediocre creatures. I think the best creature in here is probably the Glade Warden for its ability to make things bigger throughout the game. But we're not going to take that over a very solid removal spell. And I suppose Hailstorm Valkyrie could get pretty big in a dedicated snow deck. Alright, Dwarven Hammer pick 4. If you've been watching my drafts lately, you definitely know how much I love that card, so I'm all in on that. I have first picked that over a rare before. That was a solid rare. And I was happy to do so I think I will just take a Dwarven Hammer here. Although the fact that there's 2 pretty good snowlands in here, I guess just the Shimmerger Veil is a great snowland, and a Narfi, I think doing some kind of snow deck would be pretty open, and Narfi is incredibly powerful in those snow strategies. That being said, I do already have a good red rare, and now we're picking up a fantastic red uncommon, probably the best one. So we're just going to have some really solid red stuff to start off here. So, again, there are still snowlands in here. It is only pick 5, though, so it is very early. There's Axguard Cavalry to have a 2-drop on curve in the red deck, 2 mana for a 2/2, and in the late game it's still relevant by being able to give your large late game creatures haste when a 2/2 is no longer attacking in. I think I like the Axguard Cavalry here. I kind of want to just take a red card because I'm pretty sure I'm very much wanting to play red, and there's nothing that's like incredibly powerful off-color. Probably the best stuff off-color would be Finn. 2 mana for a 1/3 Death Touch, and every time one of your Death Touchers deals damage to your opponent, you put 2 poison counters on them, and it takes 10 of those to win the game. Finn can just randomly kill your opponent out of nowhere, just attacking with multiple copies of him or with the Death Touch rune. So Finn's a pretty fun card, but the next most powerful card would be like a Snowland or Gates of Istfell, and both of those would be for a completely different strategy than what we're doing here. So I do like Furia or Firja or Furja, however you say it. I really wish there were a pronunciation guide for this set, just for names like that. Card's really solid, but we're heavy into red here, so we're not really going to be able to do Mardu and play that easily. I think I want to just take Draugr's Helm, just a very solid equipment for a Rakdos deck. Since we do have that Feed the Serpent, we could be Rakdos here instead of Boros. The Battlefield Raptor is an option as well for the Boros side of things. Now, I kind of want to take Rune of Speed at this point, because we've got 2 equipment already. We've got Draugr's Helm. Actually, we've got 3. Draugr's Helm, Valkyrie Sword, and Dwarven Hammer. So whether we're red-black or red-white, or maybe all 3 will have multiple equipments to suit up with this thing to get a permanent +1/+0 buff, which is quite solid. Even though this is one of the weaker runes because haste is not a super relevant ability on an equipment, it still gives us that persistent value, giving the +1 permanently on equipments and drawing us a card when we play it. So I don't love Squash in a deck that doesn't have giants, although we could end up with a few red giants even if we don't end up in red-blue giants. I think we're pretty unlikely to be red-blue giants, but you never know. I kind of want to just take Dwarven Reinforcements. This card is very good in a deck with a lot of equipment, because then even just little 2/1 creatures can easily become relevant. All we have to do is suit one up with a Dwarven Hammer or a Draugr's Helm or a Valkyrie Sword, and it becomes an actual threat at basically any point in the game. So I do think Dwarven Reinforcements is quite a nice card in an equipment-based deck, and we will wheel the Gold Vein pick, so I'll try that out. We're definitely doing a heavy equipment sort of strategy. We've got a rune, and the runes make us want a lot of equipment. We're hoping to pick up more cards like Dwarven Reinforcements, so we just got a lot of creatures to dump equipment onto. I think Gold Vein pick could be pretty solid in this deck. So I will take it here over the Breakneck Berserker, which I do like a decent bit as well, but I'm definitely not taking a non-red card here, because red is our only guaranteed color, basically. I like taking a Fearless Pup here, but we could take a Snow-Covered Swamp in case we see some snow stuff. Maybe Frostbites would want these. Yeah, I'm just going to take the Fearless Pup, just the on-color for sure card. Funeral Longboat's like, okay. Vault Robber's not what we're looking for at 2 mana. We want creatures with a decent amount of power, but we only have 1 2-mana creature right now. Don't really want to take a non-red card yet again. So Vault Robber, Longboat. If I have a bunch of equipment, I don't think I want vehicles. So I'm just going to take the Vault Robber. I don't like Open the Omen Paths. It just ramps up mana for you 1 time, or gives your field just a really small buff. I think Warhorn Blast is just better because it can give a bigger buff, but even Warhorn Blast I wouldn't end up playing super often. And I think Vault Robber's weak enough that I'll just take a black creature out of this, the 2-mana 2/2. It's also very good with equipment. If we suit this up, give it +1 power, then whenever it dies we get a 2/2 here. And I'm actually going to take a Snow-Covered Swamp over the Vault Robber. It's just really not what I'm looking for. Just a 1/3 body. Now, I'm pretty good into red-black here. I'm definitely not committed to black, so if there's nothing that strong for red-black here, I could just take the rare, Waking the Trolls, a very slow card, but potentially a very monumentally powerful one. Destroy a land, then put a land from graveyard onto the battlefield under your control, and then get as many trolls as the difference between the number of lands you have and the number of lands your opponent has. So if you have 8 lands out and they have 6, which is what you're trying to do with this, by destroying one of their lands and then bringing it back onto your field, you get 2 4/4s out of this. It is an exceptionally slow card, but that is a very powerful effect if you make it there, so I think I'm going to take that here, but maybe we're supposed to just take Dwarven Reinforcements, because that would definitely go into this deck no matter what, but there's nothing uber powerful in red or black, so I'll just take the strongest card of that pack, and maybe, just maybe, we'll end up playing that. I doubt it, though. Now, I kind of like Run Amok. Not a huge fan of Way Down. But if I don't end up with any Raise the Draugr or anything, Way Down should be fine. And I've got 2 like 1-mana creatures here. Raven Wings is worth considering because it is another equipment to combo with like our runes and all of our smaller creatures. But this one's pretty expensive to like keep re-equipping around. I think it's solid though. We should be able to get these pretty late in the packs, but even way down we should be able to get late in the packs. This pack's just, again, not very powerful. The strongest cards are definitely not for us. Berg Strider and like Faceless Haven, just some blue stuff, some snow stuff. I'll take way down there. Now, again, nothing good in red, just a Vault Robber and an Open the Omen Paths. Do I just start taking some white cards? Because I'm not a fan of the black stuff in here either. Demonic Gifts can be fine, but in a deck with like a ton of equipment, I don't find myself often running combat tricks there because I've already got the buffing up your creature slot taken up by all the different equipments I have. Just like all my non-creature slots in general are just equipments and removal in these kind of decks. Don't love Raise the Draugr here because we do have a way down and our creature types are kind of all over the place. I guess we have a decent amount of Berserkers, but I've also got a lot of stuff that isn't a creature. Yeah, I'm just going to take Usher the Fallen. I think it's the strongest card for an aggressive deck. We'll hedge our bets a little there and maybe get kicked out of black and move into like a red-white equipment deck. And Cole the Forge Master is really solid for a red-white equipment deck, but there's also Bound in Gold. Very glad about taking the Usher there, because now out of this pack, we're not taking a Dread Rider. It's just a very slow card, and you can pick them up easily, and we're not going to take Shackles of Treachery either, so we're just going to take a white card, Bound in Gold, or Cole the Forge Master. I've got Rune of Speed, Goldvein Pick, Valkyrie's Sword, Dwarven Hammer. I don't really want to rely on trying to wheel the Cole, but I know Bound in Gold won't wheel. And if I cut black out of here, I don't have a single removal spell anymore. I don't have any Demon Bolts, I just have Feed the Serpent. I think I have to take Bound in Gold, so that if I do end up in red-white, at least I have removal. And seeing a second Bound in Gold makes me a little unhappy about that, because now we're just going to have removal anyway. But yeah, that makes me wish I just took Cole there. I think we are just moving into Boros here. Probably have to drop our black cards out of this one. Ooh, another Goldvein Pick. But there's also a Beskir Shieldmate or a Tiscari Firewalker, and I don't have a lot of creatures right now, just 8. I definitely need to get more creatures, especially because a couple of those creatures are in black, and we seem to be moving into Boros here. I guess with multiple Goldvein picks, we could like splash in black still, so we could play like Fierce's Retribution. This card does seem grossly powerful. 4 mana to spit out a 4/4 Flying Angel with Vigilance, and then next turn you can have it destroy one of their cards, and then after that it gets double strike. Like that's insane. So if we can get more Goldvein picks later, we can just like splash stuff in off of the treasure tokens. Even the Vault Robber maybe gives us some treasure. We did wheel the Dwarven Reinforcements, which was the other thing I was considering first picking out of that pack, so very happy to see that. We're not going to play any of this. I guess we could destroy a land and get a treasure token to help splash things in, but that's so just not good. I think my favorite card out of here is like Gates of Istfell, but we're just not going to play a single one of these cards, but I'm just going to keep drafting Gates of Istfell in decks that would not use the Gates of Istfell. I'm going to take a Vault Robber at this point for treasure tokens. Potentially. We wheeled the Cole! Oh my god. Alright, so Boros equipment is definitely open. I'm so happy about that. So Cole is a really, really good card in this kind of deck, because now whenever one of our creatures dies, if it was equipped, we put it back in our hand, and we can just recast it again. So we're not even trading off our creatures that are equipped. We're like killing one of theirs on blocks and then just recasting it right over again without costing us anything. So that's incredible. And getting Cole there means that maybe we can just go just straight Boros. We don't even have to really splash Fierce's Retribution to have a lot going for this deck. Did not wheel the Goldvein pick though, but that's because there was only going to be like one card left in that pack. Did wheel Forging the Tyrite Sword, which does give us treasure tokens for splashing in that black card, and it searches up an equipment. off of the third part. And with double Dwarven Hammer, we have some really solid equipment to search up. Yeah, pretty heavily rewarded at the end of the last pack, and then off of the opening here, getting another Dwarven Hammer. That just seems absolutely sweet here. We're going to pick that up for sure. And now we have a runed crown. Granted, I only have one rune, unfortunately. But it's an equipment for the equipment theme. How many creatures do I have? I only have 9 creatures still. And I already have a lot of great removal. 2 Dwarven Hammer, a Valkyrie Sword, Gold Vein Pick. Maybe I'm supposed to just take another creature here. Probably an early one to go with our early equipment, like the pick. I guess the pick is really our only cheap equipment. So we want to take another one for sure. I'm thinking maybe like a 2/2 lifelink or maybe the first strike. There's a lot of creatures in this pack. We can probably wheel one. This might be a really bold choice, but I'm going to take the Runed Crown there. And unfortunately, I will be passing up on a Battershield Warrior, which is a very solid card. Also passing up on Firewalker, Starnheim Courser, a lot of solid creatures we really want to wheel. But now that I have Runed Crown and a lot of equipment, there's no way I'm passing Rune of Sustenance, especially with 2 Dwarven Hammer as well. Making a Dwarven Hammer an equipment that gives +3/+0 trample lifelink is absolutely insane. Lockset on Warhammer was an equipment that gave +3/+0 trample lifelink, and that card was like unbeatable, so we're definitely taking another rune there. Do I want the little first striker that could, or the 3/2, or the Pretender? I have 2 Berserkers right there. Got multiple dwarves, it's like 2 dwarves there. 2 different Dwarven reinforcements that both spit out 2 dwarves. Or 2 Berserkers. Yeah, I think Bloodline Pretender would be pretty solid in this deck. 3 mana for 2/2 gets a counter whenever either a Berserker or Dwarf comes into play, whichever one we choose based on what's in our hand. And it works with the double Dwarven reinforcements either way. Could take the Carter Doom Scourge if I'm still really trying to splash black here. But I'm kind of interested in maybe cutting these Vault Robbers and just getting more aggressive white creatures. Because Vault Robber's just not an aggressive creature, and it's one of the things that would help us potentially splash black, so I don't know about the black splash. I just don't know. We definitely can't splash Feed the Serpent. We could splash Retribution and Carter. You know what? The splash is cool. I'm going to go for it with a Carter as well. Oh my god, another Rune of Sustenance, but I can't really take that over a Demon Bolt, can I? Can I? Probably not. I have 2 Bound on Gold, and that's it for removal. I guess I've got like Run Amok as a combat trick maybe. Another Rune of Sustenance would just be so good in here. Double Dwarven Hammer, a Runed Crown, the pickaxe. I'm going to take the Rune of Sustenance, but I'm really not confident about that one. So I do have a Saga, Forging the Tyrite Sword, and Furia's Retribution. So Master Scald at 5 could bring back either of those, but I think I want just the cheaper creature. This also makes all of our equipment cost less and our sagas cost less. Although if we do see one more random Master Scald with nothing else in the pack, we're definitely going to play one to return a saga. I think it would be solid in this deck. Oh my god, another Cole. Another Cole the Forge Master. Let's go. Boros equipment's very open here. I'm just going to take stuff from my collection at this point. I'm not running any of these cards. Am I running any of these? Yeah, I'd play a Fearless Pup. Probably more than I'd play Craven Hulk. So pick up the little creature to suit up with stuff. And again, maybe Battlefield Raptor here over the Code Spell Cleric, because this can get flying and it can get a pick on it very easily. So I like flying creatures with equipments, especially cheap flying creatures. Alright, well, now we're just taking cards for... Actually, Seize the Spoils does create a treasure token for our splash if we're still planning on that, but I'm I'm actually thinking our deck looks really solid with several like very powerful cards, double Coal and double Dwarven Hammer, even without the Black Splash, so I'm not sure the Black Splash is worth it anymore. Again, if I had more Gold Vein picks, then maybe, because those are like spinning out treasure tokens and doing stuff that we really want to be doing by sending in. Whereas the Tyrite Sword is just making treasure tokens slowly, and the Vault Robbers are making treasure tokens off of like 1/3s that I don't super want. But even a 1/3, like you suit it up and it's a 2/4 if you're giving it +1/+1. We'll have to see here. But I think I'm not splashing. Got 16 creatures. 18 if you count the reinforcements. 20 if you count the hammers. Valkyrie Sword's a little weird in this deck because it's going to be quite slow. We have 2 black cards in here, the Retribution and the Carter, and I think they're both very powerful cards. I have 2 Vault Robbers that could potentially make treasures by exiling creatures from our grave. 1 Forging the Tyrite Sword that makes 2 treasure tokens off the first 2 parts of the saga. And Gold Vein Pick that makes treasure whenever we're hitting people. So that's like 4 potential black sources right there. So we could maybe even run just like 1 Swamp. Really wish I had like any kind of duels for the splash. This seems like a little too bold for my tastes, but I think that you could definitely justify it if you're into that kind of thing. I guess I had the Seize the Spoils as well that could make 1 treasure. I think we can go really low curve here, because with Dwarven Reinforcements, we can foretell that on 2 mana if we're stuck on 2 lands, and then we still get to just cast it the next turn. So we can go with a really low curve here. Forging the Tyrite Sword might be just really slow for this deck, but picking up a Dwarven Hammer is not nothing. Kind of want to just take out like a Run Amok, although it is good with a really low aggressive deck. We just have like a ton of equipment for making our things big enough to send in. I don't know, I'm going to take the Run Amok out. Maybe cut 2 Vault Robber and then just 2 lands. Our average mana cost is 2.3 right now, but we have to consider our Dwarven Hammer and our Valkyrie Sword. So we're really trying to get the treasures off the Gold Vein Pick to cast those in a 15 land deck. Can I go down to a 14 land deck? I have 5 1-mana creatures. I feel as though I shouldn't. Maybe I cut out like 1 of the pups. 13 creatures, 15 with the reinforcements. The hammers are like a really slow creature because I have to wait till turn 5 to cast them, but they are a creature too. And then Valkyrie Sword is an exceptionally slow creature. But in this deck, we could just play this as like +2/+1 a lot and then throw a rune on it. Maybe that's a thing, but it is expensive to re-equip as well. Maybe we don't even want Valkyrie Sword. I don't know. With Cole, I feel like there's no way. I feel like we want literally every equipment that we could possibly have. Which, speaking of, let's see if we cited any bad equipment. Just a Draugur's Helm, but that takes treasures to cast because it's in black. Yeah, no. I don't think we can cut an equipment here. But I also don't particularly feel fond of cutting a creature. So I cut like a Tyrite Sword, or a Fearless Pup, or a land. That's what I'm thinking. Let's go really bold. Let's cut a land and just see what happens to us here. If it goes disastrously, we can always add more lands, but our average is 2.3, although we do need the mana to be equipping things around. Yeah, no, I shouldn't be cutting lands so aggressively because I have to have the mana to be able to move these equipments around a lot. So probably 14 lands is really bold. I should probably go back to 15 and just cut a pup here. Because we have to take that into consideration with our curve, is that we're also wanting to use equip abilities. Alright, we'll go 15 lands. We still did end up cutting a lot of lands. Even that might be too bold. We'll see how often we have to spend all these abilities and all that. So let's see our colors here. 12 white sources, 12 white symbols, 13 red symbols. So just like one more red. Alright, that seems fine. We've got one more red source than white source. We've got one more red symbol than white symbols. Yeah, let's just get in there. I'm very excited about this deck. Boros equipment. We've really got it going with 2 coal and a forging the Tyrite sword. And we've got double Dwarven Hammer. Y'all know how much I love Dwarven Hammer. That card is absurd. 2 of the runes to maybe give a Dwarven Hammer lifelink and just live the absolute dream, getting a Loxodon Warhammer on the board. We'll see. Oh, we got the pick. That's such a keep. Wow, yeah, this hand looks really good if it pans out. We've got a rune to throw on the pick as well to make it +2/+1 for only 1 mana, and haste. Haste actually is relevant when you can give haste for only 1 mana. It's just not relevant on like a Dwarven Hammer, because then you have to spend 4 to give haste, so you're almost never getting value out of that unless I just top deck like my 1/2 flyer or something in the very late game. So our opponent does start with a snow-covered forest. So we're playing against some sort of snowy deck. Snow-covered forest into glacial floodplain, so they are definitely going off with snow so far. Alright, there we go. There's the first non-snow source. 1 forest, 1 snow-covered forest, and 1 glacial floodplain. 3 mana here. They've got green, white, and blue available. Let's see what's going on over there. Foretelling a card, maybe? Foretelling a card it is. 1 mana up. They're going to bind the monster on our Axguard Cavalry. Alright, I guess we're just casting an Arnie then and slapping for 3. It is going to be weird for Bloodline Pretender to be the last creature that we play, but I want to get it as aggressive as I can against snow decks and just put as much pressure on as possible, do as much damage to them as quickly as possible, because snow decks are always going to be absolutely brutal in the late game. We've drawn into Dwarven Hammer, which seems quite solid. Although I am 1 mana off from creating a token with it. At 4 mana here, I could Goldvein pick and equip onto Arnie. And it's a 4/4, and then I get a treasure token that I could keep for the Dwarven Hammer, or I could then throw a Rune of Speed on it and draw a card. Let's just equip Arnie here. Attack for 4. I think I'll be casting a Rune of Speed on my Goldvein pick with my treasure token. That gives me 2 draw steps to hit the land for Dwarven Hammer, and Dwarven Hammer's not going to have haste, so I can just cast it post-combat if I get a treasure token by attacking in. So we're going to target the Goldvein picks, so my pick now gives +2/+1 haste for 1 mana to equip. We drew an Axguard Cavalry. Our opponent's down to 11 already. Cast an Augury Raven. Drawing a card with Vega. The reason I didn't bind and gold the Vega is that its triggered ability is still going to happen. And that is the scariest part of that card. I'm really not concerned about a 2/2 flyer hitting me or blocking at this point. So I don't really want to waste the bound and gold there when I could be putting more pressure on drawing more cards, stuff like that. I don't have any instant speed tricks here, so if I attack in with Arnie and they double block, I will just be clearing that stuff off. Then I cast Bloodline Pretender, or I cast Cavalry and Raptor. Kind of like just clearing their board here if they want to do the double trade for Arnie. Because Arnie's technically just a 3/3, it's just getting +2/+1 from the equipment. That's just so insane. I could bind in gold on their 3/3 flyer and then they don't have a good block. They take 5. And then I spit out a 2/2 if I get the treasure token. Or they chump block. I'm going to attack in and see if we can get the double block here. I don't think it'll happen. But it might. Alright. No blocks. That means they're down to 6. And I get to drop down Dwarven Hammer this turn instead. I'll be taking 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm at 18 life. Yeah, we're very safe to just drop our hammer. Now when I attack with Arnie, I can even boast. And then Arnie's absolutely massive. Although Arnie would not have trample. If I move the hammer to Arnie, then Arnie is massive and has trample, but boasting doesn't do anything anymore. Because then Arnie just turns into base power 3, which he already has. Our opponent has 4 cards in hand. They've got 5 mana up. 3 snow sources. And they have a Horizon Seeker they could boast with to grab another land if they're stuck off of a color. But they'd have to tap 2 to do that, so they'd only have 4 mana up after that. Struggle for Skemfart is to kill Arnie. Luckily the pick is still around, doing all kinds of scary stuff. Our opponent has 1 mana up here, so if Bound and Gold resolves, I just have to move my pick over and we've got lethal. And that looks to be the case. So that is game. Could have also cast the Battlefield Raptor and put the pick onto that. That actually would have been better, because it only costs 1 to equip and it would give haste to this thing. So that would play around them having the whatever they could have at instant speed for 1 mana. I don't think they had any Foretold cards, so not sure there was anything they could have had. But yeah, we should have spread our threats out a little. Got the Hawk out. Since we had the mana to do it. But yeah, that was just really solid stuff there. Alright, opponent is on the play. We've got both our colors. We've got 2 mana, which is enough to cast everything except Dwarven Hammer. Because of course we can foretell the reinforcements and cast it for 2. Ooh, Rune of Sustenance for the Dwarven Hammer. I don't even need to hit 5 mana here, I just want to hit 3. I just want to hit 3 mana and then cast Rune of Sustenance on a Dwarven Hammer. Don't even care if it doesn't come with a 2/1. This game, oh my god. And there is the 3rd mana. Do I want to foretell reinforcements or just play a 2/2? I think I just want to play a 2/2. Still. Our opponent starts with double Port of Carfell, so if this game goes long, they're going to get a lot of value out of this thing. They get to return 2 creatures from their graveyard to the battlefield tapped, since they have 2 of these. Elderfang Disciple, discard a Cavalry. That's just not going to get cast for a long time. Cold of Forge Master? Let's go. Our opponent's on blue-black, so unless they have a Raven form, they shouldn't have a way to get rid of a Dwarven Hammer. Blue-black-white now. White does have some ways to destroy artifacts or enchantments, but not any really main deckable ones, like a, Alright, well there's a Cosmos Elixir, that's very worrying. I forget the green card. There's a 2-mana 1/3 in green that destroys an artifact or enchantment when it comes into play. That is the card I don't want to see. So I don't have enough mana to cast the rune and equip here. But I could cast the rune and foretell Dwarven reinforcements. I shouldn't have played my land yet. If I'm planning on casting rune, I could draw into another white source for coal. So I could cast coal and the rune. I think I want to just get as many threats out as quickly as possible to try to outrace the elixir. Because with the elixir at their end step, they gain 2 life. Or if they have more than 20 life, they get to draw an additional card. So we need to be putting pressure on them to get them to not draw 2 cards a turn and just overwhelm me with card advantage. They've got 4 mana, 2 blue, a black, and a white. And here comes the rope. We'll see what's coming on the field for their side. It may just be like a bound in gold or something to remove 1 thing for now. Vengeful Reaper, 2/3 flying, death touch, haste. And they leave it as a blocker because they're trying to get the Cosmos Elixir to go off. I am going to Rune of Sustenance on the Dwarven Hammer. Actually, as much as I want to do that, I still don't need the lifelink, so I should probably just equip this Dwarven Hammer to something. So I'm trampling over, guaranteed. Yeah, if I don't equip the hammer, then I can't get in this turn. Because Flying Death Touch is a problem. And it's a 2/3 body. So if I just attack with everybody without equipping the hammer, I just lose a creature for nothing. So whatever I equip with coal, when it dies, will go back to my hand. I guess I get to rune and reinforcement, which is solid, but I just don't attack in that way. I guess I don't need to attack in this turn. Yeah, I don't actually have to attack in this turn. I can wait till next turn. Because they'll just go to 21 life. They don't draw a card immediately here. Now my field's massive, and I have the Loxodon Warhammer set up. And I drew into a Bound in Gold to just get rid of their Death Toucher. Let's see what else they have here. Koma's Faithful, a 3/1 lifelinker. When it dies, everybody mills 3. That is fine. Pretty sure I just want to equip my Fearless Pup with Dwarven Hammer. Then it'll be a 4/1 first strike, trample lifelink. Although I could also just Bound in Gold on Vengeful Reaper and just send in with everybody. They'll block Cole and kill Cole, but then I can just cast another Cole. That actually seems pretty good. The Reaper is just stopping me from attacking with more than one creature. So we want to get rid of that. Yeah, they definitely trade with Cole here and just take the rest. And everybody has milled 3. I hit a Mountain, a Rune of Speed, and an Usher of the Fallen. They hit Feed the Serpent, Egon, God of Death, and Poison the Cup. So they milled some really good cards. Not a very lucky mill for them. So they've got a 4/4 on the field now, so we're just going to start Dwarven Hammering all over the place. Yeah. Just throw it on the Fearless Pup and they can't block. Well, they could, but it would be just a chump block. Now they have to use removal on my Fearless Pup. Not even like a very impressive removal spell. They just turned my 1/1 first strike into a 3/1 first strike. Well, they turned my 1/1 into a 0/1 is what I meant to say. I do not want to sacrifice that. Ooh, Arnie. I could even just equip that with a Gold Vein pick now and just keep attacking with the same creature. Yeah, because I can equip the Gold Vein pick, get a treasure, and then cast this coal. Now when Withercrown makes me sacrifice my Fearless Pup, I can put it back to my hand with Cole's ability. Even if I moved all the other equipments, it would be a creature that was enchanted. So Withercrown is really bad when I have Cole on the field. That being said, I think I still want to leave it on board because I don't exactly want to just like re-equip everything to somebody else. I think I want to just like play Arnie. Attack in and boast. Arnie trades with the Kennel Master and Fearless Pup hits for 4. Could even go wide to get like 6 more damage in. They did get another blocker. Bloodline Pretender is here. Choosing Clerics off of it, and they have 2 mana left. They do have a Cleric, an Elderfang Disciple. This costs 2 mana to play and 3 to equip, so I think I'm discarding the Valkyrie's Sword. Unfortunately, it is a solid card, but I have to discard that or my haste creature that can also send in. I do not want to sacrifice that still. Bloodline Pretender is the draw, so I get another creature. If I attack with Fearless Pup and Arnie, Arnie will be attacking as a 5/3, and they block it with their 3/3. We just trade 5/3 for 3/3. Fearless Pup, they can't block it well, so they just chump block it with the Elderfang Disciple. They could block it with Karfell Kennel Master and Elderfang Disciple, but then I first strike damage the Kennel Master away before my Fearless Pup is dealt anything. Yeah, I don't have to get in for any damage here. Because they're at 15, they're just going to go to 17 off the Elixir next. So we'll just attack with Pup and Arnie. Although it might have been better to just hold up the boast mana for Pup. Actually, Pup has Trample. They can't chump block it. Because Dwarven Hammer is just an absurd card. Either way they block here does basically the same thing, but they would stop more damage if they blocked the Kennel Master over here. So Kennel Master on the Pup would have stopped more damage just for having more toughness. I guess that's the only way they would trade with Broken Bow without getting rid of the Bloodline Pretender, so maybe they have a bunch more Clerics. So yeah, I guess that was them wanting to kill Arnie, but not wanting to lose Bloodline Pretender. Or it could have just been a misread of Arnie's boast ability. It does not care about the base power, it cares about the current power of whatever it is. So since Fearless Pup, sure, its base power is 0, but its current power is 4, so that makes Arnie 5. Alright. I am not sacrificing Fearless Pup still. Oh my lord. Yeah. Just, yeet. I could give that haste, too. Not sure. Sure, we'll trade off that 2-1 token. They can double block Fearless Pup to kill it, but it just goes back to my hand, and then I re-equip, and it's like nothing ever happened. Especially because I get haste when I equip. This is so dumb. The combos here are just ridiculous. Cole, and then the haste rune. Oh, I actually don't have the haste rune. It's the lifelink rune. Okay, so the pup doesn't get haste here, but it does just go back to my hand, so I just get to recast it. Kill the 4/4. I guess I don't get the treasure to recast it immediately. Coma's Faithful. Another 3/1 lifelinker out here. Bound in Gold is the draw. I can shut off their lifelink. Probably just get in for lethal elsewhere. If I shut off lifelink, they can block here. That's the most damage they can stop. They take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yep. That should be it. Pick on the trampling one, so I know I'm getting a treasure. Just block Cole, take infinite. Alright, they do block the most damage that they can, but they go to -1 there. Alright, Boros equipment, let's go. I think the first time I drafted this kind of deck, it didn't pan out super well. Just because I don't think I saw like any runes in that draft, but this one, we've got 3 runes in here, double Dwarven Hammer. We're really living the dream. Absolutely hooked up. Well, Runed Crown's gonna be ridiculous here. So we're just playing a Runed Crown on turn 3, and we're hoping to just draw into any creature. Literally any creature. It could be a 1-mana 1/1 with no abilities, and we'll just keep slapping the rune onto it. So, not gonna play a Rune of Sustenance on a creature, because I'll have a Runed Crown to play it on. I suppose I could get blown out really hard if my opponent's playing green. Then they get to destroy my Runed Crown and kill all the runes on it. That would be a very bad time. So I get to grab the haste rune out of my deck and just... Alright, I'm gonna go all in here. So if my opponent just plays a forest and then they play the green card that destroys an artifact, I'll be really, really sad. Search our library, grab the red rune, draw a card when it comes into play. Draw into Dwarven Hammer. Alright, well I'm no longer going all in on Runed Crown. Because now I can get a life-linking Dwarven Hammer again, which is also just ridiculous. Usher of the Fallen. And I drew into Cole. Okay, so the Runed Crown takes 2 to equip. Right now it's giving +2/+1 in haste. It's not enough to really attack in, because I attack in with a 3/2 first striker then, and they can double block that. I think I just play Cole, maybe, because then I can just start equipping things and attacking with them, just being like, whatever. Our opponent could have like a Frostbite here, then they just shoot Cole. But they don't have great attacks regardless, so I think we're still set up for a really good long game even if we lose Cole. They do have the Frostbite for Cole. Looks like we are on the mirror match. We're both Boros here. Spectral Steel on Usher of the Fallen to make it a 4-3. No blocks. I'm going to have a lot of lifelink this game. So we'll be fine. Now I do have the mana to cast the rune and equip a Rune Crown. And I'm very fine with doing that because of the fact that I have another lifelink rune. I could hold back to block the Usher, but with lifelink, I don't really think I need to. And Pup's not going to be chump blocking anything. We'll send in. But yeah, I have the second Rune of Sustenance to throw onto the Dwarven Hammer to get a big old lifelinking Loxodon Warhammer later. Probably going to bound in gold on Usher of the Fallen and really get them there. 2 for 1 them, killing their creature and their aura, basically. Bloodline Pretender coming out. We'll see what creature type they plan on casting a lot of. Human it is. And there's a human. Doomscar Oracle. Sure. If I attack with Fearless Pup before I do anything else, they can't block it well because I could boast it to kill both their creatures. I could cast Dwarven Hammer and Usher of the Fallen this turn, but then I'm not getting rid of their Usher of the Fallen. Although I could just hold back like a 3/2 First Striker to try to block it. I think I'm still wanting to send in, honestly. No blocks. So we will bind their Usher. I am still in combat. His boast abilities make everything all weird. So I'm getting cracked back for like 8 if they attack with everything, but then their shields are completely down. And I could attack back for 5 lifelink using Fearless Pup's boast ability. Rally the ranks. Oh, that's pretty concerning. +1/+1 to all their humans, so Bloodline Pretender and Doomscar Oracle get +1/+1 here. Which makes them hit for even more. So, I don't have enough mana to equip a Dwarven Hammer, but I have enough mana to boast and attack in, gain 5 life off of that and put them to 5 life, and then I have 2 mana up after that, so I can play an Usher of the Fallen or a Rune of Sustenance. Or I can just hold back the Fearless Pup. They've got a Foretold card that could be like +2/+1 to their whole field, but if they have that, I can just trump block with Fearless Pup, trump block with Usher. I think I'm still sending in here. Go to 9. Send in with everybody. This is probably just like +2/+1 to the whole field. I have to block 1. If they +2/+1 to the whole field, then I have to block 2 of these. I think I have to just do chumps here. Could be a Demon Bolt on the pup, but then I just am super dead. I guess if it was Demon Bolt, if it was Demon Bolt, why wouldn't they just do that right there? Because I was tapped out? I'm at 7 life, so if I attack in and they blow this up in response to my boast, I get to hold back 1 blocker at 7, which would be enough to survive just barely. Wings of the Cosmos to untap it and give it +1/+3. So that was like their combat trick. If I boast I have 5 power, that has 7 power now. Wow, that's really brutal. Or 7 toughness now is what I meant to say. I don't have enough mana to play a Dwarven Hammer and give it lifelink. But I can play a Gold Maw champion and equip it. I'm at 10 now. They'll be hitting for 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 exactly. So I need them to not kill my blocker here, so we'll play the higher toughness one, I guess. And give it lifelink. Okay. I'm gonna block here because if they have +2/+1 to the whole field, I take 12, but I gain 4. So I'm still alive with 2 life. And if they don't have +2/+1 to the whole field, if they just have nothing, I get to just eat their creature and gain 4. We'll see. If they have +1/+1 double strike, I'm just kind of dead no matter what. Oh wow, that's exact lethal. Never mind. I guess that was the only card that would have killed me if I blocked it exactly that way. But I'm still dead no matter what if it's just +1/+1 double strike, because I block there and then they can first strike before I gain any life, and then I take 6. So I'm not dead immediately. So I guess in that case, I could have tried to get haste on the Dwarven Hammer. Yeah, that was a rough one. I played around the common instant and not the uncommon instant, because just statistically speaking, that would be more likely. But got punished hard for it. Yeah, that was brutal. But they could have always just had another creature in their hand, and if they did, we couldn't have lost, or couldn't have won the game. If they didn't have another creature in their hand, and I top decked another basic land, then we would have enough mana to play the equipment as a creature and equip the crown to it to give it haste and get in for lethal there. Well, that was a really rough one. Rough way to end it for sure. Super close game overall. Keep this. We've got Cole with our runed crown. Green from my opponent makes me less excited about Ruined Crown, because Masked Vandal is definitely a possibility. I don't actually think I want to play Cole first. I'd rather try to draw out their cheap removal like Frostbites if they're playing red, or Way Downs if they're playing black, anything like that, on other creatures that I have. Because I actually don't need Cole's effect until my creatures are under any danger of trading with things. I kind of want to just get as aggressive as possible here and play the Bloodline Pretender for warriors, and then next turn just drop these 2 out, like I'm not even casting the crown this turn. Just get some beefy creatures. Well, 1 beefy creature, 1 4/4. Is our opponent still stuck on double green? We will certainly find out. Triple green it is. That is 1 step up. Sculptor of Winter, 2/2. and they can tap it to untap a snowland, but they do not have a snowland right now. They can tap it to crew their funeral longboat, so they essentially have a 3/3 as a blocker if they need it. And one thing to note about Masked Vandal is they can't destroy an artifact or enchantment unless they have a creature in their graveyard to exile to it. So we actually don't have to worry about Masked Vandal until Sculptor of Winter Trump blocks or something. So we're playing some warriors here, so that I have a 4/4 to attack into their 3/3 with. Otherwise, I just cast Bound in Gold on Sculptor of Winter to shut off all of its abilities and its ability to crew, but they can respond by crewing, and then I'm not attacking this turn. Does this make warriors? Oh, it does. So I could even play the Usher and give it haste and then do that thing, but I think I'm trying to throw the Rune Crown onto that so that I can boast with that more later. Because if I just give it haste, it's just attacking into the 3/3. Although I would be making just as many warriors this turn. This would be a warrior and then the human warrior. Yeah, Usher's really nice with Bloodline Pretender as well. I guess I could play Usher and Rune Crown instead. Too late now, we're going to cast Cole and Usher. But that would be another option. That would be another one where I'm not attacking this turn, though. I do want to do that. No blocks it is. Because all they could really do there was trump block with either the Sculptor or the Longboat. And they may be disconnected right now. They did rope for a while and then it kind of just skipped through the rest of their turn mostly. Well, the rest of my turn. Oh, nope. They are still here. Red on Shimmerdrift Veil. So they are green-red. Which is kind of weird, because that's what I just, like, assumed that they were. Because I was like, I want to play my other creatures so they don't Frostbite Cole. When all I had seen were forests. Demon Bolt. Well, Demon Bolt means Pretender's dead. That's for sure. But they're only creatures tapped, so they don't get to... they don't get to block here. They can't crew the Longboat. So I get to play the Runed Crown and either equip it or just make a warrior. I think I want to just make a warrior. If I pick haste here, then it gives +2/+1 haste. If I pick lifelink, it gives +1/+1 lifelink. I think I'd rather just get more power right now. Especially with Bound in Gold to shut off their next blocker. I don't think I really have to worry about being defensive at all and gaining life or anything like that. Let's just get the more damage to our opponent. Alright. Search our library here, pick up Rune of Speed, +1/+0, and haste if that ends up being relevant. I get in for 2 less damage if I just attack and boast, but I get a 1/1 warrior on the field if I do that, and that should be quite good. Just any random creatures here are very relevant, even if they're just 1/1s, because of our ability to just equip them later. And opponent is down to 8. That is the 5th mana for our opponent, 6th if they use Sculptor of Winter, so they could cast like a Vorinclex or something, but still at 20 over here, so we're pretty safe against any aggressive cards like that. Just hoping that they don't play like a really good defensive card like Essica's Chariot or something. Essica's Chariot's a 4-mana vehicle that spits out 2/2/2 cats, and they can crew it for 4 as a 4/4. So then they'd have 3 2/2s on the field. They'd be able to crew a 4/4 and a 3/3 as blockers. They'd just have really solid blocks if they had a card like that. But Essica's Chariot is not... it's not a card you see all the time, because it is a rare. It is definitely a bomb. So that is what we're the most worried about, is just bomby cards like that. Kolvori's not that bad. Kolvori's a 2/4. If they have a bunch of legendary creatures on the field, then it would be a 6/6, but it's basically just a 2/4. Even the other abilities, not going to happen too often. You won't often have a lot of legendaries in Limited. But they could be like base green, just splashing all of the dual color green legendaries. They could have Svella in green-red, Halvar in green-black, Morit in green-blue, all of that kind of stuff. If they got really lucky in the draft, but pretty much all the legendaries are relatively high picks. So I can slap a Runed Crown onto something here, and then I can bind in gold something, or I can just cast a Dwarven Hammer and give it haste. The 2/4 blocker, Runed Crown would make Usher a 4/3, right? It would be a 4/2. It's +2/+1. If I shut off one blocker, they block whatever I throw the crown on and take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think I'd rather just play the hammer, really. Just trade with Kolvori or Sculptor of Winter and deal a bunch. Next turn we have Bound in Gold and equipping the crown, so we should have lethal next turn. Could even just equip the crown and equip the hammer to something. I guess Cole's ability to return creatures to my hand might make me want to just equip this to one of my creatures that's not a token, rather than just give the token haste, but I'm not super sure. I'm gonna go for the haste on the token. This is getting pretty absurd from our opponent. Maybe something's going on with their connection, or if they are genuinely just roping. Alright, they just concede there. So we are 3 wins and 1 loss in. Maybe 2 losses. Remember, the loss did hurt pretty badly, so we could count that as 2 losses. 3 and 2. Not really. We're 3 wins and 1 loss in. Heading into round 5 here. I am starting to get a bit of a headache, so hopefully that does not persist too hard. It doesn't affect my play or anything. Alright. This is a risky one, but I'm going to keep it. Turn 2, we foretell Dwarven Reinforcements. Turn 3, play Pretender. Turn 4, plop them out. And that is if I'm completely stuck on only red mana. I still get to do all that. Which is a plan, and we did draw a white source, but still not going to cast a white card for a little bit here. Would I rather choose Dwarf or Berserker here? Dwarven Reinforcements, they are Dwarves and Berserkers, so I get to choose either. Dwarven Hammers both. Arnie's a Berserker, so let me count. 1 Berserker, 1 Dwarf, 4 Dwarfs, 5 Dwarfs. I've got more Dwarves than Berserkers. Pretty much all my Berserkers except for Arnie are Dwarves. Dwarf it is. This does make it pretty obvious what my Foretold card is, though. Bloodline Pretender on on Dwarfs. Have 1 card Foretold in a red deck. Bam! Pretender's a 4/4, which means it can attack into that. I'm even going to play Axguard Cavalry. I could play Rune of Sustenance just onto the Pretender itself, but runes are a lot better on equipments, so maybe I'll draw an equipment next turn. But if not, I'll probably try to cast both of these cards. Forging the Tyrite Sword gives me the treasure to just immediately cast the rune as well. Icebind Pillar. Well, Bloodline Pretender is going to get tapped every turn, and I've drawn into another rune. That seems pretty solid. So could just cast both of the runes, but they don't add any toughness to one of my creatures. So if I'm runing onto stuff, that's just not very exciting here, because I still can't get into Mistwalker with any of my 2/1s. I could throw like Lifelink onto my Axguard Cavalry, so I'm still getting something with it, but I think that's just not worth it. We're just going to go to combat, get our 5/5 tapped down, and pass the turn. Our other option is to just bounce off of the Mistwalker. We're not going to sacrifice a 2/1 to deal 4 damage to our opponent here. Spirit of the Alderguard, a big old blocker that grabs another snowland from their deck. Picking up probably a Snow Duel. Yep, Arctic Tree Line for green-white. Alright, so I know that I've got 5 lands out now, so with 2 treasures as well. So next turn I get to grab a Dwarven Hammer, play it, and Rune of Speed on it, and then Rune of Sustenance the turn afterward. Seems incredibly solid. I think I am playing an Axguard Cavalry here, just make Bloodline Pretender even scarier. But then we're gonna play a Dwarven Hammer and just start slapping our opponent with a hammered up creature every turn. I guess I don't need to cast Rune of Speed because I have 2 Axguard Cavalries to give haste to things as well. So I could just cast the Rune of Sustenance first. Rune of Speed would get in for 1 more damage. I think either would be fine first. Doesn't matter too much. Just draw a card and make our hammer even better. There's an Augury Raven from our opponents. Gold Vein Pick. Okay, well, actually, I've got the mana for a Valkyrie's Sword, but I think that Dwarven Hammer is just better, because the sword doesn't give any form of evasion. It just gives +2/+1. So the Angel Warrior token is what you're really getting there, and we don't want the Warrior token, we want the best equipment we can get to keep moving around to our other stuff. I guess I could grab Runed Crown. I think we're just grabbing Dwarven Hammer. It is a dwarf, so Bloodline Pretender is now a 7/7, which would have to be blocked with basically everything. So I'm going to go to combat here, and then, like, in response to the tap down, I'll give my 5/1 haste. Probably actually just casting Gold Vein Pick, because now I want to try to spread out my threatening equipments, I think, because I'm against a green deck that could Masked Vandal one once one of their creatures dies. So I'm thinking I'm wanting to play Gold Vein Pick post-combat. Go to combat. Alright, tap that down. I'll give haste to the 5/1. No blocks. Go to 10. Interesting. Alright, I will cast this Gold Vein Pick now. Next turn we'll be casting runes onto that thing. Most likely. So I can spread out my equipment, maybe get to attack with 2 creatures a turn. They don't have any creatures in their grave for a Masked Vandal if they have one. Maybe I'm playing around that card too hard yet again. It is a common, so it's certainly not a rare occurrence. Alright, the mirror match. Let's go, Rune Crown. They grab the +1/+1 trample rune. Yep, so Rune Crown gives +2/+2 and trample to whatever they equip. Yeah, maybe I do just throw my lifelink onto Dwarven Hammer to get Loxodon Warhammer going. They equip onto Mistwalker, making a 3/6 flyer. So I have to give 1 more power to the Dwarven Hammered creature to attack into that. Oh my god. Well, now I just have a backup Dwarven Hammer for if my opponent blows up the first one. So I kind of want to throw the pick onto the 6/1. And if I get the treasure out of it, then I can cast a second Dwarven Hammer. They might be Icespine Pillaring to tap down my dwarf here, but we'll see. They have to triple block the 7/7 to kill that, so I'm not really sure which they want to tap here. They do tap the 7/7. He's setting in with the 6/2. No blocks. Alright. Opponent is very, very bold. Want to keep all their creatures on board. Well, I did get the mana for the next Dwarven Hammer then. Let's go. This is really just Boros dwarves as well. It's not just Boros equipment. Every card we've cast this game is a dwarf. Every creature on our board. Ice Hide Trolls. They can get an indestructible thing, but I still can trample over that. So we're really going for it with trample now. I can throw Rune of Speed onto the second Dwarven Hammer so that I have a 6/2 trample and a 6/1 trample. I can still do that. I'll just move this equipment over to my 2/1. That is what's so good about the equipment. It's like I just lost a 2/1 token there. That is not much at all. Throw Rune of Speed here to get the power needed to fight with a Mistwalker. They just can't afford to use Icehide Troll's indestructible ability because then they're not tapping down an attacker. I'm just going to play that. I don't know if I really need it, but I highly doubt our opponent's playing discard in green-blue. Could get really punished if they go Snow-Covered Swamp into, like, Mind Rake or whatever. Tap down the Gold Vein Picked Dwarf. I will be attacking with these two. If I attack with... Actually, if I attack with everybody, this is probably just lethal. Like, they block. Actually, block there. Yeah, this is lethal if I attack with everybody if they don't have something. I'm at 20, so I can be pretty risky here. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12... like 16 on the crackback if they somehow like fogged. Because they do have a pump ability on the troll and the Mistwalker. Well, I guess this is not completely lethal. You know, I actually miscounted the number of 2-1s I had by 1. That was really bad. We're gonna get punished for it with the immediate Bergstrider next turn. So now they tap down 1 and I just have 1 Dwarven Hammer creature. Would also be 6 power though. This is giving haste, so I could just give haste to the flyer and they can't... But then I'm not attacking it with that one. Save that for next turn, I guess. Because you've got the Icebind Pillar up. So I give one of these lifelink and they'll tap down whichever has lifelink probably. Guess I'll throw lifelink onto this one. I'd rather them tap down the one that won't give me a treasure token if I hit them. Kill one of their creatures. They double block here, I kill one of them. Trading up 2-1s into better things. I really should not have sent in that flunge last turn. But I am starting to get a little impatient and super headachy right now, unfortunately. It's like turning into possible migraine status coming up. I am getting worried. Or just throw a pick on there. I'll throw a pick on that one. Doesn't really matter. I have 8 mana next turn. Probably shouldn't have played the lifelink rune, because then I could have cast Starnheim Courser and given it haste off of an equipment here. Or, I'm sorry, I can't even speak and process my words correctly right now. I probably shouldn't have played the lifelink rune, so I could play Starnheim Courser so I don't have to equip it to give it haste to attack with 3 creatures this turn. Hold the Multiverse. This opponent is trying to draw out of this position. They have 7 toughness on their field, so they have to double block my 7/2 now. Black mana off of the Ice Veil thing, and they get a 1/3 blocker. So I'm 1 mana off from casting Starnheim Courser and moving everything. Ooh. Ooh, Dwarven Reinforcements. Yeah, that's actually pretty exceptional right now. I have enough mana to cast that and suit up something with Trample. They have 1 snow mana up, so if I cast Starnheim Courser and give it haste, then they have to tap that, which means I get to send it with the 8/8. How well do they block the 8/8? They've got 9 toughness. They actually block it pretty well. Until I play Dwarven Reinforcements. So we play Dwarven Reinforcements and we'll go for the Courser with haste next turn. Pretender is a 10/10 now, so do I want to throw this equipment onto the Dwarf, make it 10 trampling power? They might tap the Dwarf instead, but then block with everything 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They can't kill the 10/10, so yeah, I do want to suit that up still. Send in the 10/10. They don't have the snow mana to give indestructible here, so they chump block with the Harbinger most likely. But I am clearing out a blocker. And now I have 4, I'll have 5 attackers because I can give something haste with the Dwarven Hammer that has the haste rune on it. With the Icebind Pillar, they're shutting off 3 of my attackers. They're shutting off 1 with Pillar and 2 of them by blocking. Now 3 by blocking, so they shut off 4 of my creatures here. I can play a 5th one with haste, being Starnheim Courser, if they don't have a counterspell. We should have lethal next turn. I probably could have won earlier if I didn't go with the big Flunge attack, but we're obviously still just in a really good position because Dwarven Hammer is an absurd card, and even more absurd when you have it in multiples. Oh my god, just draw a natural haste creature. Doesn't really matter, does it? I don't think it really matters. I can play this one and move an equipment to my to just like one of the 2/1s here to spread out the threats a little. Could give Arnie trample, but then they just tap Arnie instead of like Bloodline Pretender, so it doesn't super matter. Arnie's like an 11/3. Yeah, they just scoop him up. Yeah, it could have been like really cute and gave Arnie +3/+0 trample, but then they just tap Arnie, so it's irrelevant. Like if I make Arnie my best creature, then Arnie just gets tapped. It's already going to be an 11/3 attacker. If I throw a Dwarven Hammer onto it, I guess if I throw the Trample Lifelink Dwarven Hammer onto it, then it is a 14/3 lifelinking trampling attacker, so it just gets super tapped. So yeah, I do that instead, then they just block there, block there, block there. Or, sorry, tap there, block there, there, but get trampled over for lethal, plus the extra 2 there. So the number one lesson I can teach anybody out of this video is that Dwarven Hammer is a ridiculous card. Take all the Dwarven Hammers, and runes are super powerful with equipment. Some very Simple lessons in this one. But very solid ones nonetheless, as we can see. 4-1 right now, and I have not been playing optimally yet again. So hopefully I can get a little better at that throughout this format. Be a little less embarrassed overall. I do really want to hit 3. Our curve is pretty great. Just 1, 2, 3, Pup, Cole, Arnie. Although I do like having a flyer. I don't have a ton of lands in here, so I can't be just guaranteed to hit. I don't remember if I was first or they were first. If I'm on the draw, I think I get rid of the land, but if I'm on the play, I'm going to get rid of Courser. We'll find out. I am on the play. All right. Opponent starts off with a Shimmerdrift Veil for black. Drawing a second Cole is pretty awkward, but Cole does draw removal pretty often. Did hit the 4th mana. But now we're just sending in for 6 on turn 3 here. Opponent's down to 13 already. If I just hit a land or something, I can still just attack in with everybody. Pup attacks as a 3-1, and yeah, Arnie attacks as a 4 power there, so that'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Put them to like 4 life, so they just scoop them up immediately there. And they weren't even stuck on mana, they weren't stuck on colors. They just did not have the 2 or 3 mana creatures to block the early aggression there. So that was a pretty absurd curve. Obviously got us there very quickly that game. So 5 wins, 1 loss, heading into round 7. I am going to keep the heck out of this. We have the Loxodon Warhammer combo. Dwarven Hammer with lifelink. Let's go. Turn 2, we're probably just Dwarven Reinforcementsing. Ooh, I accidentally turned the DPI of my mouse up there. Draw a Rune of Speed. I guess I could just throw a rune onto the raptor itself. I've got a hammer coming up. Like making that thing ridiculous. We are in the mirror match. We're against another Boros equipment deck. They've got Cole and a Scary Firewalker next turn. So if I play Arnie, I've just naturally drawn all 3 of my runes. If I play Arnie, it'll attack into Firewalker and they'll just trade. I could play Dwarven Reinforcements to have 2/1s to stop my opponent from attacking me, or I can just play Dwarven Hammer to start setting that up to maybe throw on the Raptor and give a bunch of abilities to. I think I just want to play 2/1s here. Keep poking them with my Raptor. Clarion Spirit, probably followed up by another 2-mana card. Ooh, or a Tormentor's Helm. Really, really solid with Cole. Throw it on the Firewalker, so I have to take 4 here. Sure. I've got double Rune of Sustenance. I'm very not worried about my life total this game. 1 mana off from getting the token out of the Dwarven Hammer, but it may still be worth it to just play it here. So I can start runing it up quicker. I could also just play Arnie. But even if I trade with the Firewalker on blocks, it goes back to their hand because of Cole. I'm actually just going to play the Warhammer here. Really hoping to hit a 5th land next turn so I can equip it to the Raptor and give the Raptor lifelink. I don't think it's worth getting in for 1 anymore. We'll just save it as a blocker to keep them from hitting us for 1 there. Firewalker is going to get to just boast for value all game here with Cole and an equipment on it. Boast ability on that, very powerful. Lets you play the top card of your library. I'm just going to drop down a Craven Hulk instead. Okay. So I could equip Raptor and have a 4/3 first striking blocker, which is solid. How much do I want to risk it for the biscuit here and Rune of Sustenance onto the hammer, hoping to draw into another land? I've got like 10 lands left. I've got 11 lands left in my deck, and my deck's 28 cards. It's less than a 50-50. And this is shaping up to be a bad time here. They get to throw the helm onto the Craven Hulk now. But at least they're only attacking me with that, and once I get the Rune of Sustenance... Oh. Oh dear. This is some kind of pump spell combat trick thing, but I can't really afford to play around something. Hit an Usher of the Fallen off of the Boast. I guess they were just getting in for one and putting the Firewalker back in their hand. That is a thing. Well, Clarion Spirit gets to spit out another flying token. I think we're just too much on the defensive this game. Our hand did not curve out nearly as quickly as our opponents here. I do have a 5 mana to play a 3 mana creature and a Rune of Sustenance now. I'm at 9 life. I get to gain 4 off of Rune of Sustenance attacking in, so I'll be at 13 with a 3/3 on my board. If I'm at 13 with a 3/3 on my board, I can block. I just block like coal. I take 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Maybe I don't even attack here, though. I guess I've got a second Rune of Sustenance as well. I'm gonna attack here. Because if I just don't attack here, my opponent can just draw into removal, and in red-white, literally any removal. They could draw into Frostbite, they could draw into Bound in Gold, they could draw into Demon Bolt. Like, any removal in their whole deck can easily kill a Battlefield Raptor. So I'm just going to send in so I know I get to gain life, even though I could potentially gain life and block a thing if I didn't do that. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 here, go to 3, gain 4. I don't think they're going to cast 2 spells here, probably just 1. I think I want to get rid of Cole. I guess I could get rid of the Usher, because the Usher is spitting out a 1/1 every turn. Like, definitely, because they've got the extra mana. Get rid of the Usher. Well, I could have won if I could not have won that game. That's guaranteed. No matter what I did with the cards I drew against the cards they drew, I could not have won that game. What I meant to say is I could have lived another turn if I blocked Firewalker there. But I don't feel guilty about that loss at all to the Provoke the Trolls at the end. I don't feel like that was too greedy of a block or anything. That'll just happen to you. They literally could have just killed my blocker instead. And then I guess I go to 1 in that case. But yeah, they could have killed my blocker and gave me a really bad time. Looks like maybe this game I'll be doing what my opponent did to me, to my opponent. Maybe this is the yin and yang of life. Now I get to be in the driver's seat being evil to people again. I guess double Dwarven Hammer is like super evil, so we super deserved to get out-curved last game. Sculptor of Winter from our opponents. That'll trade with Usher. Could just eat our 1/1. You know, with a Gold Vein pick and 2 runes, I just want to play Arnie and send in with everybody. If they just eat our 1/1, they take 5. Okay, so we trade with the Usher, get that off the board. Now we're gonna play a pick, throw a rune on it. Unfortunately, I can't throw the rune on it until post-combat, because I have to spend 2 to play it, 1 to equip, and then 2 to throw the rune on. I could play Cole and cast a rune here. I could play Cole and then cast a rune just on Arnie. So that Arnie trades with Boreal Outrider and comes back to my hand still. I don't think I want to do that, though. And maybe I'm not even playing a rune yet. Maybe we're just going to cast Cole to get more creatures on board again. That's probably the case. Just dump out our hand here. Yeah, the Gold Vein Pickaxe, this is the kind of card that when I first saw this thing, I was just like, alright, whatever. +1/+1 is pretty small. Treasure tokens is whatever. But once you've played with it once, I think this is basically my first time playing with it, but it has very, very much overperformed for me. Like, that just seems so much better than what I ever thought it would do. Give lifelink on the pickaxe. Drawn to a Fearless Pup. Seems solid. I don't think I want to throw another rune out just yet. Just attack with Arnie, trade with something, and get Arnie back in my hand, or I get to deal 4 to them. I think I want to get the 2/4 out of the way so that my 2/2s and stuff can attack in. Only cost 1 to equip this pick, so I could play like a pup and equip it. But I'm probably re-equipping next turn onto Arnie anyway. So I'll just play the Cavalry. Just a bigger creature without dumping mana into its boast ability. Pup's just a 1/1 without that boast. And we're going to be using our mana on equipment and stuff. Opponent's on some kind of Naya build here. Pretty solid card here. Valkmira, Protector's Shield. Prevents 1 damage to any of their creatures or their face. So essentially all my creatures are 1 less power. Rune Crown is a sweet draw, but I can also just play Arnie. And Arnie is a 3/4 here. With the equipment. Still just get to send in there. My other creatures don't attack well now. I can attack with both of these to do 1 damage to my opponent. But then they kill one of my creatures, and that's just it there. Treasure token lets us cast Fearless Pup. Doomscar Oracle. Getting cast with a snow mana, so it'll be a 4/3. And Svella for the second spell to gain some life. And that'll be a 3/5. Well, we just give Arnie one more power, and Arnie's big enough to still kill anything except Svella. So I gotta play Rune Crown and just put my Rune of Speed on it and equip. Or I just put Rune of Speed onto Arnie itself. I don't want to throw the rune onto Arnie itself. I need to hit 6 power on Arnie to be able to kill Svella if they block with Svella. I guess if I just had another 4 power creature, it would be enough. But then I would still need the +1 rune on this Runed Crown to give +2. Throw the Rune of Speed on here. For the additional power so that Arnie is basically a 5/5 now. So Arnie can kill Svella on attacks. I can't kill both of these. I think we kill the Boreal Outrider. Because damage is reduced by 1 on each of them, so I can do 4 damage to one and 2 damage to the other, or 3 damage to 3 damage to both, but it's like reduced each time. So I could do, if I go 3/3, then I'm doing 2 and 2, and if I go 4/2, I'm actually doing 3/1. Just kill the bigger one, kill the Doomscar Oracle. This might be wrong. But we'll see. Oh, it auto-assigned the damage in a dumb way, so we're just killing the 3/2 either way. It was really close between which one I wanted to kill, so... But we really need to make sure that we don't let the auto-tapper, or the auto-combat damage assigner, do that anymore, because it is not playing around Valkmira. Rootless Use. They got a big old 5/4 that's still trades with Arnie if I throw all the equipment on it. Dwarven Reinforcements is solid. Probably want to Bound in Gold Svella to shut off her abilities here. I don't want them to be able to start... Yeah, I'll pay 1, yeah. Alright, there we go. I don't want her to start grabbing cards out of the top 4 for free. Gold Vein Pick, where are we going? Cold does not return itself, so we'll throw this onto like Axguard Cavalry, but we're not attacking here. But now I can block and return Cavalry to my hand. Icehide Troll with the mana for Indestructible. So there goes our game plan until we draw a Dwarven Hammer. Definitely need Trample now. And a Guardian Gladewalker for 2 spells in the turn to gain a couple life. Now I've got 2 Dwarven Reinforcements. They only have 1 snow mana up, so if I can get Arnie big enough to attack in here. Arnie only needs 5 power now to kill something on attacks. So we just play Arnie, put the Rune Crown on him. They do not have the snow mana up for the Icehide Troll. I guess Rootless U does get to grab them something from their deck when it dies, so we'll see if it grabs anything good. Just a Lindworm. Lindworm is fine. They'll gain some life, but we've got enough equipment to just resuit Arnie to big enough to attack into even something like that. And with Eyeside Troll on the board already, they already got basically as big of a threat as they'll ever need. In terms of blockers, we just really need our trample equipment. I mean, I could Shum Block here and just put Cavalry back in my hand. I'm gaining enough life that I'll just take this, though, because I need my mana. Not going to easily afford to recast that and do everything I want to do. 6 mana, so I get to cast Arnie and equip some stuff, or I get to cast a Dwarven Reinforcements and foretell another. I'm not going to be attacking here now, so we'll just set up our reinforcements. This Valkmira Protector Shield is just one heck of a card. It has prevented tons and tons of damage this game to the point where they might have just already been dead without it. Just by not having good blocks and stuff like that. Well, they do have Trample with that rune. I guess I could trade one of my 2/1s for the Oracle, because this is 3 damage to it. And Cavalry's going back to my hand. That seems solid. They do have 2 mana up, but I'm guessing that's just Eyeside Troll mana. Seems to be that way. Starnheim, Courser, get a flyer on this board? That will also crack in. Alright, that's certainly another way to try to win this game. Hoping that it's just holding on them for Eyeside Troll. I'll equip the Gold Vein pick first so it's less scary, and then I'll equip the haste thing. So if they do have a removal spell for it, maybe they don't use it till I give it haste, in which case it would go back to my hand, but my opponent is probably smart enough to know that they need to blow it up before I put an equipment on it. I have 2 0/1s, a 1/2, and a 1/1. So I can kill Battershield Warrior if I double block with my 2/2 and my 2/1 and they don't boast, but that is just such a not gonna happen thing that I think I just take this all. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. At most they get to add 2 more on Troll, which makes it 14, and they get to add 3 more total with Warrior, which makes it 16. Just not gonna block. I guess if they have the double strike spell, I will just die to that again on Lindworm. But because it has Trample, I'm already dying to that card. So we're at 9 life and we gain 4 off of Courser when we attack, and we put them down to 9. God, this freaking Valkmira is so annoying. Making it just 4 damage instead of 5. They only have a 1/1 to block with now. Arnie's gonna be big. Could even just give the trample to Arnie. Oh, there is no trample yet. Well, I play Arnie. They're gonna chump block Arnie. If I attack with everybody, they're at 13. I do 4, 5, 6 right now because of the Valkmira. I think I just gotta play a ton of blockers and keep getting there with Courser. Although they only have the 1/1 to block with, so I do get to attack with Arnie, just for sure. And I can attack with Cole. That does really blow up against me if they have some random pump spell, but probably won't. Attack with these, I think this is pretty safe. Okay, yeah, I was gonna say if they don't block Arnie, they're taking a lot of damage. Now they're taking 5, so they're down to 8. I'm going to equip the cheapest one to equip to cavalry so I can block with it and get it back in my hand. Actually, let's do it to Pup, because Pup only costs 1 to play to recast. I guess that's 1 less lifelink on blocks here. So now I have a chump blocker that'll survive. Well, a chump blocker that goes back to my hand. And then they're at 8 here, so they just die on the crackbacks hardcore right now. So I just need to make sure I survive here. If they have the double strike spell, like nothing's going to save me from Lindworm. Just throw our 1/1 onto the Battle Shield Warrior, because it doesn't attack for any damage anyway. It attacks as a 0/1. Yeah, double strike on the Lindworm would make it a 9/9 double strike. That's 18 damage. I guess I could have blocked it with like literally everything, and then I could survive if they had the double strike spell. Luckily for us, they did not have it. So that will be... Is that the end? Honestly, really hoping it's the end. This headache's getting insane. All right, nope. 6 wins and 2 losses. We're so close. 1 more round, final boss, win or loss. This is the end of today's draft. The end of my random, terrible brain patterns suffering that's occurring right now. Oh, you're going to end it like this, Arena? Mold a 5 on the play and still have 1 color of mana. Arena's going to end it like this. Well, we're going to lose this game. Almost guaranteed. Probably should have just kept double Pup here, because it's the only thing I know I can do. Yeah, get rid of Battlefield Raptor, just keep double Pup. Rune of Speed, let's go. I need the cards. Forging the Tyrite Sword is the draw. I don't know what is coming on here, but it's not even just like a headache now. I'm getting pretty nauseous, so I'm having a real rough time of it right now. Now was not the greatest time to record a video, but I felt perfectly fine right before I started recording. And now I'm just getting somewhere here. Somewhere that is not a place I want to be. Alright. Surprisingly enough, this start does not look as terrible as it could have been. Like, I've got good blocks for their Liberator at least. I've got multiple attackers. I've got a relevant bow stability. I'm getting treasures out of the Forging the Tyrite Sword, and that will hit the 3rd part. I get to pick up a Runed Crown with it if I'm still stuck on 3, and if I make it to 5 mana, we get to pick up our Dwarven Hammer. And I have the Bound in Gold to shut off their boasting off of this card to make sure that they aren't actually just drawing the best cards in their deck every turn. Alright. Well, if I was ever going to win this game, it would definitely take some misplays for my opponent, like attacking with the 1 toughness creature into the 1 power first striker. So it definitely does not feel good for my opponent, but I'll take what I can get here. I need every little bit of value that I can acquire. We're probably grabbing Ruined Crown with the Tyrite Sword. Carter's Vicious Return. Very solid against the Bound in Gold. They kill the pup here. Yeah, I'm going to take a Ruined Crown. I think I'm going to grab the +1 rune from my graveyard, actually, to get more aggressive, do more damage here. Yes, because then if I draw the mana, I can just suit it up, attack for 3 in the sky this turn. I can also just cast Coal. Everybody's going to discard a card next turn, so I have to discard the Cavalry here. Yeah, I'll just cast Coal. If they don't play a decent blocker, I can make that a 4/3 and send in. Actually, yeah, looking back on things, if I had equipped the Raptor... Ooh, they don't have a blocker. That's actually really nice. If I equipped the Raptor, I just would have got in for more damage here, because this thing gives haste anyway. Opponent's down to 5. They are getting a creature back with a counter and haste, and they're getting a Lindworm, so they're gaining life too. But I can hit them in the sky for 3 a turn, so they're on a 3-turn clock against my Battlefield Raptor. If I move my equipment onto it. Definitely a misplay here. We could have done 2 more damage. Our opponent could be at 7 right now if I just equipped the Raptor and waited. Actually, that's not true. That's not true at all. Based on what we currently had in that hand, it could have been a misplay to cast Coal first, but the fact that I drew another creature means that I still did just as much damage as I would have if I equipped the Raptor that last turn, because it allowed me to get in with both of these creatures attacking that way. If they attack with Lindworm, they cannot block. So if they're going to attack with one, they got to attack with both here. Unless they play a 1-mana creature. Alright, no 1-mana creature, so I send in for 5. Alright. Make a couple 2/1s so I can Shump Block Lindworm. I've got 3 damage in the sky next turn. They're dead to 2 flying attacks. Another Craven Hulk, so they can block with 2 Craven Hulks together. That will work, and they have the Raven Wings to get a flying blocker. Ooh, but I draw into Bound in Gold, so I can just Bind in Gold one of their creatures, and I attack in for 3? If I Bind in Gold the Lindworm, I attack with everybody, and the 5/5 blocks there, 4/4 blocks there, they take 3. So I think I'd rather just hold on to Bind in Gold to bind whatever they put the Raven Wings on and just attack them for 3 this turn. See what they drew into here. If they drew into removal for the Raptor, that's a big problem. I guess I still have 3 creatures if they did that. If they drew into removal. I have 3 creatures against their 3 blockers. I can shut one of them off, and then I have 3 creatures against 2 blockers. So I win if they drew removal, and I win if they drew a creature. Unless that creature's a reach creature or a flyer. Because then they can play a reach creature or a flyer and suit something else up with the wings. Actually, no, because then, yeah, still we just go back to the basic math. They have 4 blockers. I have 4 attackers. I shut off 1 with Bound and Gold. They scoop them up. I guess because they didn't draw either a creature or removal, so they were dead to just how wide my board was there. Alright, I'm starting to get real... I'm getting real out of it. It feels like I might have a flu coming on or something. I've got the headache and a lot of nausea here, so... I am going to wrap this one real quickly, but that was a really fantastic draft there. I'm not going to do the pack openings or anything. Yeah, that was a super solid, super fun draft overall. Unfortunately, having some body illness issues coming on, feeling rough. Anyways, thank you all so much for watching. I will be back again tomorrow for some more Magic Arena content. Going to be doing more Premier Drafts of Kaldheim if you're interested in that stuff. You can also check out my Twitch channel where I play live whenever I've got the extra time. And yeah, thank you all so much for watching as always, and I'll see you again tomorrow for some more Magic Arena.